4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago.
I kept saying no, and they wore me down.
We kept wearing you down.
And here I am. And I'm over here because of Terry Ray and the wonderful play we're doing.
Yes, so
The New Century.
The New Century by Paul Rudnick's play, the Event Theater Company.
Yes, he wrote In and Out, Adam's Family Values, Jeffrey. It's a very smart, funny play, and there is male frontal nudity, full frontal.
And Stan is the director. It's a fabulous play. There's 4 more performances. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and this Sunday it closes, so buy your tickets.
Very few tickets left.
It is amazing.
Palm Springs Cultural Center.
It's the Bent Theater Company, the only LGBTQ plus theater company in the Valley. And there's nudity.
There's like full naked.
Full naked.
Yeah. Not by me, somebody you want to see naked.
Beautiful young boy.
For $20, Terry won't be naked after this.
Yeah, throw Terry an extra $20 and out behind the cultural center. But yeah, it's a play not to be missed. It's really, really good. It's poignant, it's funny. Stan directed it, Terry stars in it. So support the Bent Theater Company, and it's fabulous. So again, get your tickets.
TheBent.org.
TheBent.org.
What is the name of the play one more time?
The New Century.
The New Century.
Paul Rudnick.
Yeah, people are asking.
Yes. At the Palm Springs Cultural. So the Bent Theater Company is housed at the Palm Springs Cultural Center.
Right. And cast with all local Palm Springs people who are extremely talented.
One right here.
And one is right
One right here. Okay, now you can embark.
Stan,
Let's get into it.
You're a writer, actor, producer, and director.
All the above.
This is your first book. So again, congratulations. So those of you who don't know or came in late, change the channel. So Stan's book literally dropped yesterday on the 13th, and we've been working for several months. So this is literally the first book signing event was tonight here in Palm Springs with Stan.
That's true.
So thank you for doing that.
Thank you for inviting me.
Appreciate it.
Woo!
So the book is stories about all the wonderful women I've worked with and Roseanne.
And Roseanne.
So there might be a few stories about Roseanne. I'm sure you all have heard stories. And there was a big fight. You see the cover of that? So my publishers were afraid about putting Roseanne on the cover because they thought she might sue me or something. And I was like, and that would sell more books. So I'm sure you've all seen the trajectory of Roseanne's life and career and
upward spiral.
Use of Ambien. Yeah.
And again, those of you who didn't know earlier came in late. So these are bookmarks for the book. So if you scan the code, you can order the book. And if you do it tonight, then Stan Zimmerman can sign your bookmark for you. So see Stan before you leave tonight.
So Sunday night I flew to New York, and Monday I was the bartender on Andy Cohen's show. You can find it on Hulu and other places, and it was a very unique, wonderful experience. And I will.
And you still came back to us.
And I flew back through the snow. Somehow I got here. I did not want to miss this event, so thank you.
We appreciate that very much. So one of my questions was, so you said you've written for theater, film, television.
And my theater producer, Stephanie.
And Stephanie.
Right there.
Nice to
She
meet
produces
you.
my plays in LA.
So is there one medium that you, this is your first book, but so what do you prefer writing for? You've also done film, you did the Brady Bunch, Very Brady sequel, both Brady Bunch movies.
I'm loving theater right now, and especially working with someone as wonderful as Stephanie, and creating theater that makes people laugh, but also theater that provokes conversation. I won't get too heavy here, but I'm loving marrying art and advocacy together in my theater work.
And writing for Golden Girls versus Gilmore Girls, what were the different challenges in writing for each series?
Golden Girls, I was 10 years old. And
people mentioned that he looked so young. How could he have written for the Golden?
That's a question.
That's a question.
I think he was 17 when he was writing.
When did you work on Gilmore Girls? How old were you?
Gilmore
18.
Girls, there's the new century right there's all the beautiful.
Oh, there it is.
Woo!
Come on. It's very provocative. Thank you, my dear. Are you single? Do you have a jacuzzi? Well, fuck it.
I can anal.
Anybody else? What was the question? Golden Girls was very different because I was just young, starting out, and Gilmore Girls I had written, Roseanne and shows, and Gilmore Girls was more difficult writing because it was very fast talking. So it was very dense dialogue, but I loved working with those amazing actors. Nash, there he is. Hi. How hot is he? Come on, look at that.
Yeah.
So embarrassed. Yeah. With a jacket, you dressed up for this occasion. Did you not know where you were going? Okay, get a drink. Now we're just gonna call out people.
And also
Jim Butman there. How about Jim Butman?
Jim Butman in the
He
house!
was such a generous host for me while I've been down in Palm Springs for like 6 weeks. So thank you. I've known this man for a long, long, long time. He's put up with me for many, 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 many years and comes to every production that I do, and that means a lot. So love you.
The
Yes.
naked guy.
So that's Alex. So we literally, I staged him so he's right down front, right in your face. He's not Jewish, but you get what I'm saying. That's really awesome. Yeah.
I can't recover.
You can't recover from that.
Tell us about B. Arthur.
B. Arthur!
Okay.
B. Arthur.
B. Arthur, Betty White.
B. Arthur versus
So I have
Was there
to
a
say.
feud or was there not a feud?
Okay, so People Magazine, I don't know if you saw, they are doing a clickbait kind of thing. I did an interview with them, and they are kind of talking about their feud between them, and that I said B thought Betty was two-faced. I never said that. Marsha Posner Williams, one of the producers, said that, and that's what I say in my book. There was some weirdness between the two of them. I was very good friends with Estelle Getty, so I was very protective over her. There's a Hollywood Reporter. So I kind of pushed that we cast Matt Zuckery for Logan, and he's wearing hot blonde voice.
I had read actually a while back that part of the supposed feud was that he had a theater Broadway background and Betty White didn't. She had a television background, and that was part of the conflict.
Betty White was mostly television, but I learned when I went to the Gilmore Fan Festival, we were in Concord, Maine, and I went to this theater that a friend of mine coincidentally runs, the Concord Playhouse, and there was a picture of Betty White and Alan Ludden, her husband, who did a play. So she did theater, not a lot of it. And another full circle coincidence you can read about in the book, Rue McClanahan performed at Hampton Playhouse, which was a summer theater in Hampton, New Hampshire. And I went there years later as a teenager. And unfortunately, I didn't know she was there. I would love to have talked to her about that. But I have talked to her sister.
And also a little great tidbit, and a lot of you may not know this, but and you mentioned it, actually Stan mentions it, that Betty White actually was in television for 8 decades because in the late 1930s in Los Angeles, they were testing this thing called TV, and they needed a performer, an actress. And so Betty White literally was the first test for broadcast television in history. Worldwide was Betty White. So she really was the pioneer in television.
Yes, and unfortunately she died on New Year's Eve. And I remember that night, the day I was writing my journal, and then my phone started buzzing like crazy. Because everybody hoped that she would live to be 100. And even People Magazine had already created covers for her 100th birthday.
And she missed it by 12 days, 15
Yeah,
days.
but as I said that I think she picked New Year's Eve because we would all have a drink. So let's Hold up a drink for Betty White.
Yes, Betty!
Betty White.
Because if we threw a party,
Invited everyone. What else do you have on that
Let's
list?
see. Well, and you've written for Brothers, which actually our
No
good
one
friend
knows.
Robin Riker was the female lead on Brothers, so we're good friends with
So it
Robin.
was a gay show on.
It wasn't the first series? Well, no, so. But Showtime, right?
Showtime.
So you wrote for Brothers, Fame, Gilmore Girls.
George first. Wait. Stop Fame. I wrote an episode starring
Woo!
someone you may have heard of, Janet Jackson.
yes!
Yeah.
It was her first music video, so she owes that to me, and Debbie Allen directed it. And,
love Debbie Allen.
It was a great music video.
Hooperman, Just Our Luck, Polly. Oh, Roseanne. So what was it like writing for Roseanne?
What do you think?
Next question.
A complicated woman. I thought that if I could hug her, I would make her feel better. I don't know why I thought that. And everybody on the show said, do not touch her.
Don't touch it.
Because she would fire you if she saw the whites of your eyes, we were told. So I found the tallest person and stood behind them on set. And so I was not fired until we wrote the lesbian kiss episode. And then we were on set and she says, who the hell wrote this script? And everybody moved away.
That guy did.
They were like us, and then we slowly walked, and I was like the scarecrow with the legs shaking and falling down. We walked towards her on stage, and she said, this is fucking funny. And so we breathed a sigh of relief, and I have to owe it to her for all her craziness, and Tom Arnold. They fought to put that episode on the air when ABC said no. And so,
Historic!
It was the beginning. It was before Ellen, before Will and Grace, so we all build on each other. We were on the shoulders of Soap and other shows, and so thank God they put
And that episode was one of your 2 Writers Guild nominations,
Yes,
correct?
it was. And I lost both of them. So fuck the Writers Guild.
But it's great
You
to
want
be
to know who my
nominated.
date was
Who was your
for
date?
the second one? Anybody want to guess? My beard for the night?
Estelle Getty.
Margaret Cho.
Really?
How did that fucking happen?
Wow.
I used to get stoned with her before she got sober. I should be telling you. That's not in the book.
That's the sequel.
The sequel, yeah.
The sequel.
Yeah, let's tell stories that are not in the book. All the stories that I took out. Yeah. If you have any questions about those, yeah.
So do you have enough material for another book?
The dirty chapters. I put a little bit about Studio 54. Anybody have been to Studio 54? You were there?
To see Cabaret.
Yeah, no. I was there as a young adult, and I was
Young
dating a friend
adult.
of Andy Warhol. It's all in the book. And so I was in the dorm at NYU, and he said, I have Andy's limo. Do you want to go to, we called it 54 for the night, and I did. In the book. So one night I was maybe stoned on pot, and a girl across from me was doing this. And I didn't know what that was, and she pointed behind me, and there was a man taking pictures of me, and it was Andy Warhol.
Ooh.
I was so stoned, I told him to stop because I thought he was taking a part of my soul. Who would tell Andy Warhol to stop taking pictures?
More.
You're welcome. And
Patty
so
LaPone.
Somewhere there's pictures of me that he took. So.
Wow.
Very cool.
That's very cool.
Let's see.
It's embarrassing.
So tell us about the Brady Bunch movies, how you got involved, why you wanted to do it.
I was sent to go to Greece on a vacation, so I find whenever I plan a vacation, I get offered a job. And so they, days before, they said, would you read this script? We're making a movie of the Brady Bunch. And I read it, and I didn't think it was very funny. And I said what I would do with it, and I flew to Greece. I landed in Athens, and the phone rang in my hotel. I thought it was a man. It was actually Betty Thomas, the director. She's like, "Hey," and she, "Would you come back to do the movie?" And I said, "Give me 2 nights in Mykonos." That sounds like a movie right there. That's all I need. And yes, I did. And I know what you're thinking, Terry. And then I came back and we started to write. We got a 2-week gig just to rewrite the dialogue. They liked what we were doing, and they kept hiring us back for 2 more weeks, and we kind of rewrote the whole movie. We could not change any of where the locations were. They were all set, but we could rewrite anything within the scenes. And as you can tell, we kind of got crazy and got to cast RuPaul.
Woo! Yeah.
He doesn't know me. I have to introduce myself to him every time. And you're welcome to RuPaul, because he had never done anything before that movie.
Phenomenal.
A very Brady sequel is what
We did.
We're gonna bring those here.
We should do a night.
We're gonna do
dressed Hawaiian.
a double feature.
Double feature of the
Yeah.
movie.
Well,
That'll
does
be
anybody
fun.
have any questions for Stan while he's here?
Anybody? Anybody? Anybody got a question?
I run every day. Let's show it off. Demands that you're here. And I don't eat
Any questions? You don't eat
I
dessert.
don't eat dessert or coffee.
Do you drink coffee?
Come on. Nothing? Yeah.
I kind of want to hear about Brothers a little bit because,
Why?
oddly enough, I discovered that show on YouTube. Somehow the algorithm said, "Hey, what about this?" And
I knew you were gay. Because they saw all your Pornhub searches, and that's what happened. So there was a show of brothers about brothers. One was gay and one was not.
Well, 2 were straight. There's 3 brothers.
3 brothers, yeah. So oddly, we went and pitched a bunch of episodes. They didn't like any of our ideas, but they had read our Cheers spec script, and then at the last minute they said, "Could you rewrite the storyline on Brothers?" And that's what we did.
my jaw was
many times.
Your jaw was what? I know. I've heard about your jaw. by the way.
Unhinged.
well, my jaw was dropping because of this sitcom in the '80s that had this gay guy coming out, and I'd never known about it, and then I looked it up, and you were one of the writers.
You did, and that was my first. Can I tell a story? You won't tell everybody? Okay. So we were working out the beats of the story, the outline, and the writers, they couldn't figure it out, and 2 of them left, came back 10 minutes later with all these ideas, and my writing partner said, "Did you notice the white on their nose?" I was so naive. I'm like, "What? They would never know." And they had ideas in the past, and so that was that time period. That's what happened back in the. Jim, you remember the '80s in Hollywood? Not that you did any of that, but you knew people. You knew people who knew people. Any other questions? Oh yeah.
Any other questions?
Were your parents supportive of your writing career?
Oh Jesus Christ! You want to get a therapy now? Okay, therapy time. My father was not from a young age, so he did not like supporting theater. So it's all in the book. My mother secretly bought. I had for a play, one of my first plays, I had to wear ballet shoes, and she said to hide them under my bed.
Wow.
So that my father wouldn't see him until I was on stage. So think what that does to a child. That already you're in your head that was a bad thing. My mom was my best friend, my biggest cheerleader. She's no longer with us. That's also in the book. But as I tell people, she now has the best seat in the house to any place that I do anywhere.
She's here now. She's here.
To Mom.
To Mom.
Mom.
Raise our glass to Mom.
Cheers. Stephanie, you have something.
Stephanie has a question.
Oh no.
So what's next?
Yeah, what's next?
What's next, Mr. Stanley Zimmerman?
Well, I'm going back to LA on Sunday night. Monday, I start directing a new play at the Road Theater Company.
Woo!
Road in North Hollywood. Opens April 12th. Everyone's in LA. But Stephanie and I are talking about doing a version of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Yes!
Immersive. So you're actually in a house when they come to
I
the door.
love that.
Oh, wow, that's
We
very
did a reading of it, and hopefully, knock on wood, Wendy McClendon Colby from the Goldbergs would play Martha.
Oh, yes.
That will be fucking amazing. We can hopefully do it in end of May, June. I'm sure you'll hear all about it. So that's one of the things I'm doing. Bucket list, what I want to do? I want to do Silver Foxes in Palm Springs.
Yes!
With maybe Terry Ray. It's a play that I wrote that we world premiered last year in Dallas that Michael Urie from Ugly Betty. And,
Yes, love him.
And a very good friend directed. It's kind of a gay men's Golden Girls set in Palm Springs, so I think it could run here forever. So that's a bucket list. And at some point, relaxing and enjoying life more, really.
Yeah, you think about
Moving to
moving
Palm
out?
Springs.
Moving
So
out.
I have to tell you, I've loved being here for 6 weeks. The mountains are incredible. I think moving here, and it's a great artistic community here that's growing. And thank you for inviting me.
We embrace you, Stan.
I will be back. Anything else?
Any other question?
Woo!
Nope.
One last question.
You have something
Anybody
to say?
else?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nash? No.
Okay.
Who is your favorite Golden Girl?
Duh, who do you think?
Estelle.
Of
Estelle.
course,
Estelle.
because as you'll read in the book, so she came to us on one of the very first days on the set, and she's like, "Come here," and she starts walking away to behind the set, and we're like, "What is she doing?" We follow her, and she says, "You're one of us," and I thought she meant Jewish, and she's like, "No, you're gay." She's not gay, but she was an ally. And she said, "Your secret's safe with me." I thought that was so sweet, and that's the beginning of our beautiful friendship.
Wow,
And,
that's wonderful.
I pass her apartment on Hollywood Boulevard all the time, and I remember going to one of her birthdays there, and in walked Betty White and Rue McClanahan together. Can you imagine? They're like, "I'll pick you up." Okay, who's driving? And they took a fucking elevator up to. It was like a two-bedroom apartment on Hollywood Boulevard in La Brea. And that's where Estelle lives. And
Wow.
there you go.
Wonderful
Thank
stories.
you. Now you
Yeah.
don't have to buy the book, so fuck you. Thank you, Nash. You just lost me.
Don't forget, once again,
$1,000.
if you pick up a bookmark and scan the back, Stan will sign it while you're here. So, and there's bookmarks up the front. So come
Find
and
me
see
on
it.
Instagram and tell me all your secrets.
Facebook.
Awesome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming.
Yay!
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.